Yo, what's up, Motor City Customs family? Back in the shop. What's today? Today is actually Wednesday. Here in the U.S., this is the day before Thanksgiving. So, I'm trying to put in work here at the shop as I'll be tied up with family, etc., taking care of, the good old feast. So, anyway, back to the order of business here. So, been working on the Acura RLX here and there, trying to get everything situated to, swap this cradle. And man, it's been an experience. It's a lot of damn work, I'll say that. So I got the front engine mount all loose, ready to come out of the way. Put in a bunch of work on the steering column. I have it pretty much loose. I believe I got one bolt left that's going to be holding it on the interior. I got to loosen that where the steering wheel connects, the steering shaft connects to the gear. Got to be a little careful there because this thing is electronic power steering and it's got a bunch of features. So this thing will have a steering angle sensor, and I don't have like the fancy scan tool to do a SAS relearn and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm getting at is I need not to move the steering wheel once I get the thing out, and same with the gear. I don't want to move the gear at all, steering gear or power steering rack. So I don't know, man. Honestly, I would much rather try to leave the gear just dangling in the car. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out if that's possible. If that's possible, I'm going to just leave the rack in. But otherwise, it's going to have to come down with the whole cradle. So where I'm at now is the rear engine mount. I'm working on that. And man, oh man, this thing is a beast. I had to remove the strut tower brace, and look, I'm short, and I got the car jacked up higher, so I got to be climbing up on the step ladder and leaning in here. These are the challenges we face. But okay, so let me see if you guys can see the engine mount. There it is. Oops, I don't want to blind you. Okay, you kind of see. How can I point to it? It's this beast right here. So I had a bolt coming in at the top. I took that out, and it's got 4 around the base. And I have to take those out and remove this mount because the mount, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a aluminum bracket that it's sitting on. And that bracket is what is keeping that steering gear attached to the cradle. So I'm trying to get all of that loose and stick with my first mind to try to leave and leave the entire steering rack in the car. Still not sure if it's possible, but man, these bolts, they must have used Loctite on them because they are a real beast. And as you can see, it's really tight in there. You can kind of see that there's one in the back. Let me try to snake the camera there. You see just next to that shiny brass stud, there's a 14mm bolt there, and that thing is so tight. I been fighting with it, and I have to stack a bunch of 3/8 extensions together in order to access it. Not a bunch, but here you can see my setup here. So I got a couple extensions, and it's a 14mm, but because of the angle, I had to use a swivel. And as you can see, my swivel is obliterated, man. I had to put a lot of torque on it because, like I said, those bolts are in there super, super tight. But now that it didn't work out on that particular bolt, and that's got me in a bad way. So I had to pretty much abort the mission for today because I had to order a new swivel. So what I did this time is I tried to buy a 6-point socket that's already a swivel socket, so I don't have to. This is kind of an adapter, a swivel adapter that goes on a socket. So I bought a 1-piece unit and an impact swivel, so that should be much stronger and able to take the amount of force that I got to put on there and break it loose. And can't remember, but I vaguely feel like I already got the one out. So I think that's the one last bolt holding it. There may be one more, but once I get those out, I'm gonna be able to slide that motor mount or engine mount back. And once I slide that back and out of the way, I'll be able to access that aluminum cover that's going over the steering gear. Because it has 2 bolts at the bottom, 2 on the top. You can kind of see the one, but if you pay close attention, you can see that the engine mount is sitting right over it and blocking access. So there's no way to get that out. And there's one on the other side as well. So that's just how it goes. You know, the stuff is not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But I'm almost there. And, you know, that's just a part of the game. I don't work on these every day, so I don't know all the little tips and tricks. And I have to, I guess, build up some of my tools. I don't really use a lot of metric sockets. You know, I work on old school Chevys and Cadillacs and stuff like that, so we're mostly using standard sockets. But now, you know, I have noticed, you know, in the newer vehicles, even at GM, they've started to switch to a lot of metric fasteners. Although they'll still have, they won't be fine thread. They usually still are coarse thread. And what you find on these cars is they're mostly fine thread metric fasteners. For example, let me see how tight those threads are. I don't know if I have one. Yeah, I don't really have any other example handy. But anyway, so yeah, man, that sucks that we lost some momentum because, you know, the tool failed. And man, I just simply don't have a ton of tools up here for a couple of different reasons. You know, but, you know, I work on cars at home too, so I tend to keep the bulk of my tools that I would use frequently there. And that's the tough thing of being a shop owner. Anybody who has a shop can relate. If you like working on cars at your house and cars at the shop, now you need 2 sets of tools, or you run into a situation where you need something and you don't have it with you, it's at the house, or vice versa, you're at the house working on something that's at the shop. But hey, that's a good problem to have. We just work through it. Sometimes it might just make things take a little bit longer. You know, it's not one of those things that where it's that serious to where I'm gonna drop everything and drive home or run to the auto parts and just buy one. So with it being the holiday, now there's some Black Friday sales on Amazon, so I just bought a couple of cheap tools. I got one to replace this because I'm still at some point gonna need that extension and to use it on different sockets. And I got one specific for these bolts, so 14 millimeter is the size on those. But yeah, you know, we're gonna get that bad boy out. If it doesn't come out today, then it's gonna have to be, let me see, I don't know, one day soon. You know, there's all kinds of stuff going on. So, you know, I'm off work the next couple of days, but I got other stuff I gotta work on as well. So we'll see, we'll get there. Looking at the time, I don't know. I have some work I want to do on the 63. I guess I might as well tell you guys about that. So you guys know we've been putting it together slowly but surely. Post paint, trying to get everything back on. But if you notice, I'm still missing the door locks, the trunk lock, whatever. So I bought a whole door lock kit, and this is one of the better ones. They sell a couple of different kits of various prices, but this is a good one that still comes with the old school GM keys. So I got the full kit, the 2 doors, the glove box, trunk, as well as the ignition. So I swap those out. Like, for example, the glove box and the ignition, I can do that real quick, you know, probably like 5 minutes. But for the doors, the trunk is not too bad either. I need to just make sure I got the clip that retains the lock. But sometimes those tend to float away when they take the old lock out. But since I threw these door panels on now, I got to pull those back off in order to access the interior of the door to install that lock and get all the linkage and stuff hooked up. So that's why I didn't do it right now. It's going to take me a little bit longer. So I'll probably take care of that the next visit to the shop. But the good news is we went ahead and we did secure the parts. So, you know, we'll get to it. Small update on this car. The update is I've done nothing but look at it. And it's so crazy. You know, I was just out there at the old gold spot, the barn, and that's where the hinges are. That's where a couple of miscellaneous things I could use in terms of 63 parts were. And I was just so busy looking at other cars and stuff, I paid zero attention to that. But so I'm gonna have to call my buddy and see what's up. But honestly, these hinges are fine. So I really need to just pull this hood off and probably the fender and try to do some work on that cowl. Some pulling and beating. Might try to leverage this pole in the situation too. Maybe some ratchet straps. Something crazy, but we're gonna do what we can and work with what we got. Honestly, I don't know if I want to do that with this car right here, just in case something goes flying and breaks, you know. But anyway, we'll be working on this. I know this car is a fan favorite. Everybody wants to see me finish this car, and I'm going to be getting to it. It's just, you know, with the Acura being in this state of disassembly and after waiting so long for the parts and all of that, I kind of just want to get it done, because that would actually enable this car to get back on the road, and you know, I could even start driving it, which is something I think I want to do. You know, we're getting here into the winter season, and sometimes it's not cool being in a pickup truck, especially a two-wheel drive pickup truck. It's got a lot of, that doesn't have a lot of weight in the back over the rear axles. I'm kind of dreading that a little bit, so I'd rather be driving something like this. So that's another reason why I got the sense of urgency. So I'm on it, guys. Just stick with me. I'm going to do what I can. Honestly, looking back on things, I should have vlogged a lot more of the actual mechanic work, but it's just tough, man. I'm waiting to see if Santa Claus brings me a camera I can strap to my head or something. But we'll see, guys. You know, yeah, either which way, I'm going to try to step my game up and get you guys more details for this kind of work, but I'm giving you what I can. So right now, stuck on the motor mount due to tool failure, but we're going to get back on it. Man, that thing was very tight. I mean, this is not a high-grade swivel, but you could just see how that thing twisted, man. I was putting a lot of force on it, trying to get that thing out, you know. Anyway, it's like that sometimes, so I think this is a good stopping point. Gave everybody you know, the update on, you know, I guess maybe the three main projects we're working right now. I mean, one more thing I could mention is the Cadillac here. Man, I really should do it now, but don't really feel like it. But the next time I'm up here, I think I'm gonna snatch that engine out. I just gotta lay under there and pull the bolt out. But I do need to put the cherry picker on the engine and take some of the pressure off of it for the bolt to slide out. Once I do that, we'll just pull it all the way out. And I got to figure out what we're going to do there, if we're just going to go LS or whatnot. Some folks are waiting to see what happens with that car too. So don't worry, fear not. The content is not going anywhere. But hey, if you enjoyed this particular clip, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new around here, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button and adjust the bell notification so you never miss anything, okay? We're dealing with a whole lot of car stuff and some really cool marathon streams too. So check those out, browse the site, check out some of the content. And if nothing else, man, I wish all of you guys a very happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate that, and be safe out there. This is Shawnee C at Motor City Customs, and we're out of here.